on this computer. Okay, so we're going to talk today about what to do when you lose your mojo. And I think this is particularly important now, because I don't know about you, but here's Elvina. At the moment, the world is just such an uncertain place that it's really quite difficult to keep focused on your business. And there are, in my view, there are 6 possible reasons why. Hi, Elvina. There's 6 possible reasons why we just feel that we heavy and that we can't go on. And the most important thing is to check in with yourself and to identify what is doing this to you. So the first thing is it a physical thing? You know, are you eating properly? Are you healthy? Is there some physical reason that is slowing you down? So I don't know if anybody has been through any sort of illness or anything that completely paralyzes them mentally. But obviously you've got to be kind to yourself, and you can only do what you can do in that situation. I'll talk more about that in a minute. The second thing is it an emotional thing? So is this you telling yourself that you're not good enough? Are you getting looking at what everybody else is doing and feeling that you just can't compete? Are you feeling let down? I mean, you know, our emotions are key to our day-to-day activity, obviously, but we do tend to absorb things like a sponge and go up and down, and we need to learn how to level that out. The third thing is, are you burned out? And to me, the reason that most people get burnt out, it should be burnt out, not burned out, is that you're just trying to do too much. You're trying to go in too many directions at once. You're so desperate to make this happen for you and to succeed that you're not pacing yourself properly. And all your energy is getting eaten up. And often, you know, I mean, obviously the common phrase is work clever, not hard. But it is hugely important that you step back and take a big look at this. The other thing is, are you scared? Now, this is certainly something that used to affect me when I was building my business, because my income and the support of my 3 young children depended on it. And sometimes you're scared of being seen as a failure. Sometimes you're scared because you've got investment or you've borrowed money off people. You don't want to let people down. And there's a lot of reasons that you can be scared. And if you internalize those, all you're actually doing is stopping yourself from succeeding. So again, I'll talk more about each of these in turn. Then are external pressures the cause? So is it the people that you're mixing with? Are people telling you that you shouldn't be doing this, or that you're not good enough? Are you bowing to external pressures? And the 6th one, and one that again is really relevant to me, because I'm actually borderline manic depressive. So I think that we do have a natural flow. And certainly for me, there are times when I can be hugely creative in a practical way. And there are times when I can be hugely creative creating stories in a mental way. And there are also times when I just need to be sitting back and doing something repetitive. And I think your body tells you this to some degree. And quite often we're fighting against that. So let's look at these issues a little bit further. Okay, so is this a physical thing? Well, first of all, tell yourself, if you have a physical problem, you've got to be kind to yourself. You've got to look after number one. You've always got to look after number one. This is not important enough at any level to make yourself physically ill. You're limited in what you can do in your energy. So the best thing is to nourish yourself by reading. And there are so many great books out there and so much inspiration that you can gain out there. So that, to me, that comes up a few times. To me, when my mojo goes or I'm losing momentum, I will pick up a book that is going to move me forwards, or listen to a podcast, or play an audio book, whatever. There are some hugely inspirational books out there that can change everything for you. I mean, Leveraging the Universe was one that certainly helped me in the early days, and also The Science of Getting Rich were both brilliant books. There's tons and tons of material out there. You're physically low, read. The other thing to do, because obviously your business has to tick over while you're unwell, is to plan to delegate as much as you can. So even if you're not at the stage where you can delegate, you can plan to delegate. You can look at all the tasks that you've got to do and think about where you're going to find people or how you're going to share the work so that other people can take it off you. And this is really valuable to your business anyway, because no business can survive with just one person running it. That is really important. Building a team is massively important. And even if you don't feel you can afford to get help, you can plan for when you can take people on and set your intention to get help. The fourth thing you can do if you're physically unwell is make connections, talk to people, reach out to people, make phone calls, comment on people's social media, whatever. You're lying in bed with a phone, presumably that's what most of us do, I think, even when we're ill these days. Make connections, reach out. And the fifth thing that you can do is set yourself really small tasks to do, and tasks that you can complete, because the completion of a task makes you feel an awful lot better. Okay? Now, is it emotional? Now, if you've had some sort of big emotional upheaval in your life, in your personal life, one thing that you can do is escape to business mode. And I talk a lot, if you've listened to my webinars before, about the fact that this is a business, it's not you. So whether or not this business succeeds, it's like playing a game or doing a jigsaw. It's outside of you. And you need to me, during those early days when I was in real trouble with 3 under 2s, and I'm not a natural mother, I found that incredibly difficult. Business was my lifeblood. I mean, it was absolutely my savior, because I switched my energy from what was going on in my life. And the same if you're going through a divorce, whatever. Take yourself out of that emotional, personal situation and focus on your business. It can be a godsend. It's a true gift if you're in that situation. And you can use your pain to propel you into action, because this is something else you'd have heard me say before, is that under every rock, there's a gold nugget. And it's simply a question of standing back and getting perspective. And I'm sure that many of you have probably woken up and seen something in a different light, and it's changed your energy completely. Has anybody been through that? You know, you completely weighed down, and then suddenly you can see some solution that you can take out of it, or some lesson that you can learn from it, that actually is valuable enough to have made that bad situation, made you go through that bad situation. The other thing is that you should do is prove to yourself what you're capable of. So complete small tasks that you know before you start you're going to be successful at. So don't undertake something that might pile on the risk of failure. Undertake something that you can complete and you can pat yourself on the back with once you've done that. Okay. There's a reason that women's lib and shoulder pads went hand in hand. You know, quite often when we dress up, we can feel a lot better. So, you know, get yourself, brush yourself down, dress yourself up and spoil yourself. So, I mean, that's my solution if the issue is emotional. So what was this one? I can't see because all your faces are above it. Are you burnt out? So when you get burnt out, as I say, it's usually from overactivity in your business. It's from trying to do too much, putting pressures on yourself with short timescales. I mean, you know, there's several people watching this I know that have been through this recently. And what you actually should do, because when you're burnt out, I'm talking about just physically cannot get up and get on with it because you're just completely drained. And the best thing to do then is to step away entirely from your business and to do something completely different. So that might be a hobby, it might be a sport, it might be looking at other small business opportunities. And another thing that is really useful is to look at passive income possibilities. So, you know, we've been going through all this, and this week I've been looking at cryptocurrency, which is something I know absolutely nothing about, and I've not invested in it. But it just kind of interests me. And there are a lot of opportunities out there, perhaps based on another skill that you have that you could make some money with, just to keep you buzzing over. And once again, your aim here is to get some small wins. And if your business is feeling like you cannot bear to look it in the face, which happens, look outside of it and use your creativity in a different direction. The other thing you should do is join a new group, a social group or a business group, but something that has people in it with high energy, and feed off that energy. Okay. And we're back to reading. And the obvious one is to eat well and to get out in nature, because there's nothing more lifting than a walk up a mountain or on a beach. It's just amazing. So separate yourself. Don't try and do it. Recognize that you've reached a limit to what you can do for a period of time, and go out and refresh yourself. I mean, it's the reason that people take holidays. We used to take 2-week holidays every year, and without them, we would just crumble. People don't do that so much anymore, and certainly not in these times. So do something that is completely different and refresh yourself. Feed your spirit. Okay. And the next one is, are you scared? Has anybody been scared around their business, ladies? Yeah. What do you think you were scared of, Anka?
That, you know, that is just gonna, I don't have it. I'm not finding my words very well. That is not going to be as great as I think it's going to be in my head. That it's just going to be kind of like, oh, like that's it. Something like that. It's not going to measure up to my expectation and my vision.
Okay. Elvina? She's got her hand up.
Yes, I'm also scared. I think for me, it's scared of failing. And just thinking that, I don't know, maybe I compare what you're talking about, comparing yourself too much with other brands and thinking that you cannot level up.
Okay, so the other brands, all started off where you are. I mean, that's the first thing to know. You know, the brands don't just appear great and wonderful. They all start somewhere, and you're right at the starting blocks at the moment. I mean, both of you are, all three of you are. And the best thing to do is visualize your success. I mean, this is a hard road. You know, you've made, this is not an easy industry to break into. Building a business when you're not out of a business school is a huge learning curve. But every step that you take, I mean, I think you've kind of got to look and think how far you've come. And I mean, if I just look at you three, you know, Anchor, you've got these wonderful formulas. That you've been struggling on the name, you're stuck with the name. We've got to move on from that. But you've also got some great imagery. We've already got a market waiting for you. Now, you know, you weren't in that position 2 to 3 months ago. Yeah. So you need to visualize your success, what you're going to feel like when you succeed. So failure is absolutely not an option. You can only fall down a hole if you walk in it. Failure is not an option here. So visualization is really, really powerful. Reach out to entrepreneurs who have are 6 months or a year ahead of you. I mean, you'll find them all over Instagram. You'll find them amongst my clients. You know, this is why I put up some of these videos quite often of people that have taken the leap and have succeeded, and talk to them, because they've all gone through what you're going through. And most of them want to help. You know, entrepreneurs are solo entrepreneurs, and especially with natural skincare and green skincare, are in general a lovely bunch of people. So if you're on the Formula Botanica forum, you know, put up a post saying, I'm feeling terrified, I need some support here. Be honest, be authentic. Yeah. And think about why you started this. You know, what was the dream? What did you want to get out of it? And what would happen if you didn't start it to your life? You know, were you driven enough to, I mean, what do you think the principal reason was, Anchor? What do you think the principal reason was that you wanted to do this?
I love discovery. I love artsy things, and I just love creativity. I'm, you know, I'm a mixed media artist in my little spare time, and I just love being creative. And if there's a way to make that into a material good that people enjoy, then I just love to be behind that.
Great. So it's a kind of manifestation of your creativity. Yes. And it puts you, and it adds an extra, gives you an extra medal, you know, the medal of competent business person.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's measured in the money that you make, except it shouldn't be, but it, you know, probably for you at the moment, it's measured in the money that you make. But actually what you should use to measure it is the authority that you can gain and the experience that you can gain. You know, how valid that is to you as a person. So, you know, some of us need the money, some of us don't need the money. There's all sorts of reasons for doing this. You know, even if we're telling ourselves that we want everybody to use wonderful products, you know, we're sort of green and we want to, all the environmental issues concern us. It's kind of 9 times out of 10, that's not the core reason people do this. The core reason people do this is to be seen as the person that they would like to be seen as. Does that make sense? So it's about approval to a large degree. And we can all do that. So if you set yourself impossible targets, it's going to be really, really tough, but you've got to celebrate each little victory that you achieve along the way. And Elvina, I mean, now you've, you know, we've worked really hard on getting a message. And at the moment you are putting that message into visuals. And at each step that you take along the way, this journey is going to become realer. Yeah, at the moment it doesn't feel real. It just feels like, I want this, but how the hell am I going to get it? And can I get it? And am I good enough to get it?
Yeah.
You have to celebrate each step that you succeed at. So write things down when you've got something you can tick off your list, or you've actually nailed something. I've got my products. I've chosen my bottles. I've got my branding. I've taken on someone to handle. I mean, each of these are victories and they're to be celebrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, quite often, part of the problem for people when they lose their mojo is that they're on their own. And we've got this group to help us along, but some people might need more than that. And if that's the case, then seriously look for a business partner. Look for someone that can be as enthusiastic about this as you can, and that can share the load. So that's always an option for you. And it makes there's risks to taking on a partner. I mean, Anchor, you don't need it. You've got, you know, you're fine there. Elvina, I don't know what, you know, your home situation is, if you're getting support, but you do need people around you that are as positive or as excited about your journey as you are. That's really, really important. Yeah. And the other thing that you should do, I mean, we've lost your mojo because you're scared. Take on one task and complete it that will move you forward. Yeah. And again, take on a task you know you can complete. All right. So that it's building, these are building blocks for your business. You know, this is why I get frustrated when people don't do the challenges, because the sort of challenges I put out are things that you should be doing every day anyway. So if the excuse is, well, I haven't got time or it's not important, I'm just trying to keep you accountable, because I know that you need to do these things. Okay, so that's to everybody, not just these guys. I'm not picking on anybody here, but you know, why aren't they making a video? They should have made 7 videos this week. Why can't they put one in the group? Because these are the daily tasks of getting yourself out there and being visible. Okay, I think, what else have we got here? Okay, so are you working against your natural flow? Do you know what I mean by that? Are any of you sort of ever feel chemically driven? Mood driven? No? Your state, I mean, I know there's women on this group that's probably going through menopause. There's all sorts of things. I mean, Anchor, as a creative, do you have days where you can paint and days when you just can't paint?
Yes, I do. But I always go in there anyway, which is a good habit. But for me, the days that I don't paint shows up as, you know, watching a lot of, you know, instructional videos, basically huge avoidance that looks like I'm doing something, but I'm not really doing anything.
Okay, but you can feel in your body or your mind that this is not a day for being creative. That's what I'm
sure.
getting. Okay, so I think that there are times when we can be mentally creative. I mean, I don't know what triggers them. I'm an early morning person, and I will have a stream of ideas before 10 a.m. and then after 2 p.m. I'm dead. I'm completely dead. I'm actually all right in calls because I'm feeding off my clients to a large extent, but it's almost tangible. You know, first thing in the morning, I'll go on a walk and these ideas will come, and then I'll have to edit them down and decide what I want to go ahead with. But I think there are days when you are more you can be more, or times of the day when you can be more mentally creative than others. And equally, like painting, there's times when it's great to be practically creative. It's kind of almost, you get an idea for something, you want a bit of furniture, you want to paint, embroidery, you want to do, I don't know, anything, painting. And it's a different mindset. There's just something different about physically creating something. And I, you know, on those days, I used to get this a lot more when I was writing craft books. There were days when I could write, there were days when I could make things. I had to do both, but my energy told me what I was capable of doing on a particular day. And what I'm saying here is it's really important to make a list of all the things you've got to do, and then look at that list. And it can be as simple as, what do I feel I can get my teeth into today? Rather than going down that list and maybe sitting on one task for hours and hours and hours, simply because you're not in the right place in your head to actually complete it. Yeah. And the other thing that I think really helps sometimes on those days when you're just stuck, I mean, this is like writer's block really, is to take on a repetitive task. So it might be doing your bookkeeping. I worked in a factory, for a toy factory for a while, just on a production line. And it was wonderful, the amount of energy that came back, just because I didn't have to think. I was working and earning money by putting these toys together, but because I didn't have to think about what I was doing, I could be creative. Other things were coming up. So sometimes I think that taking on repetitive tasks, such as clean the house, do the ironing, you know, I think that can help. And I mean, look, I'm sounding a little glib because I know that there are things that we all feel that we have to do. And Elvina will recognize this because she's got young children, young baby, which is hugely, hugely demanding. And, you know, you've got to give yourself time to go through that. But there's also a lot of time that we kind of waste just feeling tired is another reason. Get some sleep, set yourself a target, set yourself an alarm clock, know when you're going to work, and then you know, try and manage your time better. The other thing that you can do is study, learn something new, or learn something new for your business. Watch webinars, do an Instagram course, whatever. There are things you can do that do not require you to do anything other than take in information. So you're not having to put stuff out there. I mean, in your business, you're constantly having to put stuff out there. So take some time to pull stuff in. Yeah. You can plan, you know, make a plan for your business. I mean, if you've got a plan for 6 months ahead, or a month, or a social media plan, it's great to have things mapped out. And often we don't have the time to map them out. Well, what I'm kind of saying is you're not going to get anywhere if you go against the flow. You're just wasting time. So you might as well accept, I can't do that task I was supposed to do today, but I can do this. Yeah. And the other thing again is, this is the last, my last point is, you know, don't be alone out there. This is what this group is for. I don't want people coming in the group talking, saying I can't, or I'm too tired, or whatever, because that's a negative energy that I don't want around the group. But you can ask for help. You can ask for some empathy. Okay, so that's really all I've got to say on this, but I'd love to hear if you've got any thoughts beyond this, or anything else that's been bothering you. I mean, now, with the world as it is, how is that affecting you? Let me stop sharing. Hang on. Hold on. Stop recording. Where can I stop sharing? Well, let me. Stop share. Okay. So talk to me.
I don't know, I can go first. Yes, my business problem has impacted me, but I feel I've gone beyond that, and I'm on track now to start again. But yeah, I have to say the war situation has a big effect. Because not only it's devastating to see these people going through this horrific war, but as well, there is so much uncertainty, and for people like us, particularly, I think even more so in Europe, what's going to happen with the electricity prices. We've already seen our bills going up the roof, so it will impact everybody on a personal level. And as a newbie in the business, what is it going to be like for our business when we are ready to launch? What impact is it going to have on ingredients? Already lead times are extremely long. As well, the financial stability of the people we are working with. For example, I've just come to know the printer I had selected actually went bankrupt. So the sales guy, I'm following the sales guy who's been recruited somewhere else, but the printer, after 20 years of business, went down, and it puts a lot of stress, anxiety, because of what people are going through and of what impact it will have on the business. And sometimes I'm thinking, am I just crazy to spend all that money into a business where I don't know where Europe will be in 6 months? Will we be in a third world war? Will a lot of people be out of struggling just to pay their electricity bills?
Okay. I agree with everything you've said. Absolutely. I mean, I've got my own views on what will happen, which are probably not worth repeating here. But the one thing that I do when I work with people, and I think you've all experienced this, is that I make you focus on something that is not your brand particularly. So I give you another bow to your string to your bow. So I get you to build communities, and I get you to focus on a particular issue or something that people want and need. And this is manifested in your skincare range, which comes out of that. But actually, that journey in building that community, you can easily switch to make that the value of what you're doing. So if I can just explain that a little bit better. One thing that people are going to need, let's just say everything that you've said is going to happen, and you're not going to be able to get ingredients, and all this stuff is going to happen. What have you got left if everything collapses? Well, number one, you've all got products that are feel good products. You've all got products with stories that represent where your ideal client or the women that you want to sell to want to be. Yeah, and everybody is going to need that. Everybody's going to need an escape. They're going to need a community. And if you look at me and how I make a living, all I've done is turn my experience into programs and into digital products. So there is always, this is why getting visible, getting out there, building a following is so important to you, because it actually gives you a second string to your bow. Mm-hmm. So I can't sit here hand on heart and say, oh, it's going to be all right, because we don't know it is, but you're dealing with goodness, great products that make people feel better, and you're creating stories around yourself where your personality and your persona and the message that you're putting out there can, if you want it to, become as valuable as those products themselves. Yeah. I mean, Formula Botanica will continue, I'm convinced that they will continue to strive, because there will be a lot of people that can't afford skincare products anymore. So they're going to be making them themselves. So you've also got that string to your bow, if you wanted to, would be to teach other people how to formulate, how to do what you do, which is what I do. Yeah. So do you get that?
Yes. Yes.
Have you thought about that? I mean, a lot of brands are very general, and that, you know, they're anonymous, and they're not they don't have the personality, the individual personality behind them. But you're building brands from you, all of you are. And this, Elvina, is why, you know, in our talk yesterday, I was saying, I'm giving you lots of ideas. I'm worried that, you know, to some degree with you, that you want me to tell you what to do, and I can't, because this has to come from you, because this brand is an extension of you. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it resonates very well, because this morning someone from the social media community I'm following gave me a call further to last week, and she's selling I can't remember the brand, a brown like Avon product, and she was telling me that the way she managed to grow her community was not to actually promote the products, but she built her she built a community around her, and she sells more coaching than products. So she's on healthy living, etc. That's how actually people are connecting to me. That they don't really care about the product. They buy my products because actually they connect to me, and I'm bringing something more than product to them. And it's exactly what and it really resonates. And I think my mistake is to be too much like a brand without a face, and I need to be courageous enough to do exactly like what you said, to have to be an extension of myself, just like you said to Elvina, where it's got to be more human connection.
Yeah. And Anka, you know, we've talked about the humor. Everybody wants humor. Everybody wants to connect with someone they like, that's slightly zany, and that's got this magical knowledge of goodness. You know, you're selling goodness. You're selling you know, when you describe your products, even when you describe them to me, I want to eat them. You know, they just sound, and that's marketable. All right, so this is all worst case scenario. Well, it's not worst case scenario, because it's the way, it's certainly what's happened in my career. And I can tell you that you can earn an awful lot more once you've built that status than you can, you know, just making products. So this journey is not wasted. It's what, again, it's how you look at it and what you turn it into. And if needs must, and things, you know, get difficult, then expand that side of what you've done, because you're going to have to do a lot of that to build this brand, these brands. Yeah.
I play devil's advocate for a second. I wonder if anybody's struggled with this, but, you know, small example, I have really, really, really dry skin. And for some reason, it just got bad in the past month. And I was thinking, you know what? I mean, I found myself looking at other brands, and it's like, is there a product out there that I can trust for sure will make a difference? I don't care about the personality of the person who sells it. I just need this to go away, because my own products right now, well, they're summer products, so they probably don't work as well on my dry skin, but I've started to doubt that. It's like, well, how much is the personality versus I need this to work? And if it says peptides or whatever, but I know it's going to work, then that's the product I want. I don't care about somebody who's funny, but won't do what I need for my skin.
I think there's a bit of both of it in it, because I think that you'll have people looking for looking to solve a problem. I mean, we've talked a lot about that as well. The problem solving side is scientific skincare. Now, I am a skeptic. I think that if you have a real issue, sometimes you need chemicals to solve it. You know, that you can take things a long way, but if somebody has a real problem, then it might be that they need something more than we can give them. But so what I'm saying, what I'm talking about is two different things. People will buy into your brand because if you look at that beer brand, which is extraordinary. The one for bikers, what's it called? Started as a tiny brewery, then did crowdfunding, built this massive community, and I think they've gone public or something.
Are they in Spain?
No, I think they started in the UK. I've forgotten what they're called. You know, there was a lot of obscenity in their marketing. There was all sorts of stuff that I'm not suggesting any of you do, but it captured, you know, they said things people were frightened to say. So they got this really great following. So maybe your products won't solve a serious problem. I mean, one challenge you've got to set yourself is making a product that helps you. You've got, you know, that's perfect, because what if you can do that and then marketing it, then that sense of irrelevance of your products is going to go out the window because you know that you've actually done it. But aside from that, you know, these are not medical products. They don't cure anything. They enhance what you got already. So, you know, I mean, look, that concerns me slightly. Why aren't your products helping dry skin?
Well, I mean, I have to say I haven't conducted like a serious test on it. I haven't used it for long enough or regularly enough, or haven't drank my water. I mean, it's more than just put a product on it.
Yeah.
And it's also a summer product. It's not meant to be indoors with the heat blasting, you know, for months, which I think is what aggravates it. That's a different kind of cream. It's a winter thicker, richer cream, which I haven't made yet. So I'm aware of that.
That is a really interesting selling point. A cream that is great when you're in an atmosphere with the heating blasting, a cold weather, you know, it's drying your skin. That's a great, you've just, now let's turn this on its head, right? So you've come to me and said, I've got a problem with my skin and my creams aren't solving it. Now what you've done, let's find the golden nugget in that. Because that feels like an obstacle to you. You know, are my products going to be really good enough? Well, the golden nugget is, my God, I've found a real gap in the market here. You know, this is a real problem. If I've got this problem, there's going to be a lot of other people that have got it. And I've just given you a marketing niche that you can work around.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't make the product yourself, you might find a product out there that you could include in your range, that you could recommend, that you could sell, that you could make money off, that somebody else has made.
Yeah, you know, and it's, I mean, like when I look, you're right. And I like your method of always looking at the silver lining for something and how you can use it. And, you know, on closer inspection, because I ended up looking at Drunk Elephant's, you know, electrolyte mask. And I thought, oh, it sounds so amazing. It's really going to cure dry skin. And I look at it, and I actually looked at a cosmetic chemist who tried to dupe it. And it's like, it's full of stuff that's like, a lot of it is label appeal. It's not like that one's going to work any better, but it's interesting that as a consumer, I thought, oh, maybe that one, because look at what it says it has in it. Electrolytes for sure will take care of it. And it's not reality. So again, there's so much marketing in here. I think for me, it's just what's marketing and what's real value is one of the things that I'm struggling with, period, across all of my products and other people's products.
Yeah. Well, it's 80% marketing. I'd love to say it wasn't. I'd love to say it wasn't, but I believe it's 80% marketing, which is again why I try and get you guys to focus so strongly on the story, because that's what people buy. They bought the Drunken Elephant story. Were the products fabulous? I don't know. They've got some long names. I don't know what an electrolyte is or does, and the average Joe Bloggs certainly doesn't, but it sounds like it does something. This is the world that we're in. It's what makes us buy one clothes brand above another. Yeah, we look great in it, but I've got some Chanel jackets. Well, I could probably have got equally great ones out of China, but I wear it and I feel good because I bought into the story. I mean, that's the other thing. Placebos have been getting us through for years on all sorts of things. And I'm not saying this is desirable or how it should be. I'm just a realist, and I think it's how it is. And if you can create a product that solves the problem that you've identified, or even find a product that solves it, that's absolutely brilliant, because that's taking you closer to real authenticity.
I think it also goes back to promises. It's something that we have to be really aware of. Like, I'm not going to promise people you're going to have, dewy skin by using my product once. I was at the mall the other day, and some guy was, giving out little samples, pulled me over and said, try this on your skin. I guarantee you that in the next 10 minutes, your skin will glow. And I just looked at him like, really? Like, really, in the next 10 minutes, but, so it's expectations. Is like, what do you promise people?
But
do you promise unrealistic things?
That's why things like hyaluronic acid are so popular, because people can see an instant result, and people are becoming really instant. But you see, I think the whole, what I've been thinking about this week is the whole order of the world and the things we value and the things we, it's all going to change. And that could be exciting. I think, wealth is going to, I think we're going to become a much more equal world. I think there's going to be some good that comes out of this. It's going to be really painful for this generation, but perhaps for the next, it will level things out a little bit, because we've been living here in the West in some sort of dream. Half the world's 3/4 of the world is starving, and we sit here worrying about the most ridiculous bits of nonsense. And now it's got down to keeping your home warm and eating properly. Really?
Yeah.
It's going to shift people's values, but it's a roller coaster, and you've got to sit in the car and take the journey. Just don't internalize it and allow it to defeat you. Just go on the ride and see where it takes you. Oh, she doesn't care. She got locked in the Jeep the other night. She got locked in. She followed me in when I went into, I've got stacks of cat food in there, and she followed me and sneaked in. And then she wasn't on my bed at night. And I thought, she got herself locked in. Anyway, was that anything else? Did that help at all?
Yes, it does. It does.
Yes.
It's good to hear this sort of helpful speech to get back on track in your mind.
It's all a game. It's all a game. We're here for X number of years. It is all a game. So, how we feel along while we're playing it depends to a large degree on, how we internalize it. So it's about separating, our emotions from our personal and our business.
Yeah.
But also not losing track on what we're gaining along the journey. That's hugely valuable. It looks like nothing. That's why I want you to write down all your wins, however small. Just write them down and look back on them. I mean, how, it's probably a dangerous question, but do you feel that you've moved on as in this journey? Do you feel that you've changed at all, or that you've achieved anything so far?
Oh, me, yes, definitely. Where I was 2 years ago and where I am now, it's gotten, even a year ago, there was nothing in place, and now I've got a brand, and I've learned so much along the way. It's incredible when I look back, and I can feel the, if I can say that, the transformation as well every day. That on social media, I'm not doing things the right way, but I can sense I'm progressing and I'm moving forward, definitely. Yeah.
I love that post tonight. That was a post, really nice post about talking about how the journey started. I love that. That was really much stronger than a lot of.
Where is the post?
Oh, it just popped up on my feed. Was it
on Instagram? Yeah.
And have you started posting it, Anka?
I haven't posted any of what I've done. I should do that.
Well, you absolutely should, because you're not, again, you're the only one that's judging it, and yes, feels fearful to put things out there, and you feel like you're taking a risk doing it, but you really need to do it, because
You're right.
You're trying to give something to the world, and you're not going to do that sitting there internalizing it.
You're right. You're right.
And Elvina, are you comfortable with the story that we've got now? Did you think about that afterwards?
I think I still need to sit down and strategize, because I think I'm a bit all over.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you probably are anyway right now. Hormones.
So I was gonna say, I admire you, because when my girls wake me up at night, the next day I feel so low, and your baby being 2 weeks, for sure, you're not sleeping through for the moment. So
Yeah, and I actually have two girls that are 8 and 7 and 9. So
yes, so on top
Do they
of
like the baby? Do they like Kyle? Do they like Kyle?
yes, they do.
They like him. Well, you better give them work to do then. Get them to look
Yes,
after.
they do help me.
Yeah, I bet they do. Lovely, every little girl's dream. A real life doll.
Yeah.
You've just got to, you're under the physical banner. You've got to take care of yourself now.
Yes.
This will all come. It might be really bad. I think bad timing. I think I'll start calling you bad timing, Elvina, because you want to get everything done by June.
Yes, I was just thinking that maybe I can get the ball rolling before I get back to work. But yeah, I realized that it's a far-fetched dream. But it's a good thing. I can see, with Julie's story and even Anka, it's actually giving me courage. I feel like I'm not alone.
Okay, I'm going to go and have my dinner, and I will see you all soon. Yeah, and
thank you, Melinda. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Peace to
Take care, everyone.
Please.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.